Franchise of the week is Senior Helpers. And so this franchise started in 2002 in Baltimore, began franchising in 2005. So they've been franchising for 19 years now. And they had a few name changes and acquisitions over the last 20 years. Parent company is SHF Acquisition. Again, the team put this together, and Kevin's not with me today, so I don't know who that is. They have 5 corporate-owned territories. I love to see that, because what that shows is that, obviously they're a buyer of what it is that they're selling. And they know what it's like to be a franchisee, because they're out there running their own business units. But they have 333 franchise units. Guys, keep in mind that franchise units and franchisees are a different number, because a lot of the times, let's say if the average franchisee has 2 units, 2 territories, then they'd have about 165 franchisees. If that makes sense, because franchisees will own multiple units. Franchise fees, $55,000. Royalty is $5,000. National marketing fee, 1% to 2%. Startup costs between $127,000 $171,000 to get up and open. The numbers we grabbed from the 2024 FDD. So a lot of senior care businesses out there. We've covered a lot. They provide various non-medical care and personal assistant services, primarily for elderly individuals. This could include companion care, bathing, dressing, grooming, personal hygiene, light housekeeping, meal planning, etc. So they're focused on the non-medical care side of it, not the medical care side. When we look at their FDD, so this is where we got some of the numbers from. So I like the way they break it down, and in terms of for how long the business has been open for. I'll talk about why I think this is important in just a second. So there are 226 franchise businesses, I would imagine units, that have been open for 5 years plus. The range of revenues between 116,000 to 10.8 million, which is a dramatic range. My goodness, that is just a massive range. But the average is about 1.5, so 1.49, and the median, the number right in the middle, is about 1.2 million. And so what's interesting here is, actually, I'll talk about this in just a moment. So those are for people open 60 months or more. If you're open 48 to 59 months, so just between 4 and 5 years, there were 14 of these businesses. So obviously a lot of the franchisees are legacy franchisees that have been operating for 5 years or more. These franchisees range from $125,000 in revenue to $3.1 million. The average is just over $1 million. The median is $880,000. Then 3 years to about 4 years, there's 15 of them, ranges between $70,000 to $1.5 million. Average annual is $719,000. The median is $627,000. Oh, this is interesting. Then you got 2 to 3 years. You got someone who did $2.2 million. So between $195,000 and $2.2 million. The average annual is $971, and the median is $932. And there's 22 of these. Wow, interesting. So it's interesting that the average and the median is higher for the group from 2 to 3 years. And then 12 to 23 months open, there's 24 of them. And they did a range of $31,000 in sales to $1.4 million. Average gross revenue of $589,000, median of $431,000. And so this aligns with what I always say to people, which is that it takes about 3 years for your business to reach maturity. So if you are someone who wants to get into franchising or start a business to make a lot of money in the first year, then you probably should not own a business. And you should probably stay away from it. I told you I was sick. I need to blow my nose. I'm going to mute. Okay. So, man, there's a quote out there. I first heard Tony Robbins say it, which is most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 5. When my wife and I opened our first franchise, uh, I didn't know what the store would do in year 1, but there was a lot of growth and development happening in our area and construction and houses being built. So my hypothesis was that by year 3, we could do a pretty strong amount of sales in that store. It turned out that we wind up getting profitable in year 1 because of the pent-up demand and because of a couple of unique things about that location. But by year 3, the store sales went up pretty significantly. And so when we look at these numbers here and we see that, okay, the median is 431, 589 average between year 1 to year 2. And then, you really start to look at year 2 to around year 3 and what these numbers look like, it's pretty significant. And then, yeah, I mean, when you really start to look at, okay, year 4 and year 5, wow, they're like totally different numbers. So it just shows that if you have a longer term mindset with your business, then you're going to put yourself in the best position to succeed. I think a lot of people talk themselves out of entrepreneurship because they're so focused on what they could or couldn't do in the first year or 2. And so if you just widen out your time horizon and go, okay, well, let me focus on what I can do year 3 to 5, you're going to put yourself in a better scenario. So have a longer term time horizon and focus. And so if it means you have to keep your job while you're getting your business up and running, or get it up and running for the first year, go all into it, and then go back and get a job, those things are all okay. Anyways, some of the benefits of this franchise, Senior Helpers is the only brand that has national agreements that provide our franchisees with client leads through a place for mom and careandhomes.com. Interesting. That's pretty cool. They have one-on-one support. So as a new franchisee, you'll be connected with an operations manager, provide you with one-on-one support for up to 20 hours a week for the first 3 months of your business. Wow, that's pretty cool. Recurring revenue, right? So obviously recurring revenue is a nice component. Demand in 2021, the first baby boomers reached the age of 75, the age when seniors' likelihood of required in-home care starts to rapidly increase. And this means that the peak demand for in-home care among this generation is only starting, and over the next 10 to 20 years, senior care needs are expected to grow dramatically. They have a unique life profile Unique life profile is a data-driven assessment tool that provides a holistic view of the risks, needs, and factors that influence the ability to age at home. It helps to reduce the risk of an unsafe occurrence or hospitalization by over 70%. Pretty cool. Pretty interesting. So if you're interested in this specific brand, you can go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. Here, that's what I meant to put up. And our team can check and see if they're available in your market. And if you just want to see what franchises are available in your area, you can go to franchiseempire.com/check territory.